Calling all nerds, if you are a nerd, what I'm about to say is going to blow your mind. Okay, so recently I posted something and it was getting a lot of traction because I was talking about the rise of fascism in the United States. And one of my mutuals, Hope Peddler, actually posted this phrase that I wasn't familiar with, had to nerd out on it a bit. It's called Extinction burst. Okay, sounds like a sci-fi novel, but it's not. It's not. Here's what it means in behavioral psychology. Extinction burst refers to the intensity and frequency of a maladaptive behavior after its reinforcement stops. Okay, so let's say you're taking care of a toddler, for example. So toddlers used to be babies, obviously, and babies, in order to get their needs met, they cry. So an important stage in human development is actually when toddlers have temper tantrums, because what it shows them is they're used to crying in order to get their needs met. And as a caregiver, you have to teach them that there are other ways to communicate besides just crying hysterically. But the thing that happens right before the maladaptive, in this case, it's maladaptive to just cry in order to get your needs met, but crying isn't bad. But in this case, there needs to be the reinforcement of that behavior needs to end, right? And so there might be a period in which there's tantrums, there's a frequency and intensity of the tantrums before the child starts to break that pattern and starts to realize, oh, I can do other things besides just screaming at the top of my lungs when I don't get my way. I know what you're going to ask. What does this have to do with fascism? I am by no stretch of the imagination comparing toddlers to fascists, because that would be disrespectful to toddlers. But if we can start to understand that a lot of the interpersonal ways that we behave, our internal worlds are reflections of the outer worlds, the macro, the systems, the ideologies that govern our lives, then we can start to understand that some of them are archaic and some of them need to end and will end and must end, right? So we can talk about, for example, the founding of this nation. Some of the ideologies are ruthless capitalism, white supremacy, misogyny, patriarchy, the list goes on and on and on, right? And I personally like to believe that most of us understand that all that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. Not only is change inevitable, but we must work urgently on change. You still see this rise of this maladaptive behavior and intensity, and it could cause people to cower in fear, but we need to be doing the opposite. We need to really hunker down. We need to build connections with each other. We need to fight back. This is an important stage in which we do that. It's not a time to go back to the old ways and concede to the right and to fascists, or to stay in the center and just let things happen the way they're going to happen, because the way they're going to happen is we're all cooked, literally, because the planet is heating up. Okay? In order for the earth to live, capitalism must die. So anyway, I could talk about this all day, but let me know what you think in the comments. If you have some critiques about this idea of extinction burst and how it relates to society, let me know. But I just think it's important and it's helpful to understand as things are going to intensify and get more stressful and more dangerous and more frightening. And I'm not sitting here and acting like Project 2025 isn't something that we should genuinely be afraid of, or the manosphere, or, the intensity of white supremacy and the way that people feel emboldened to just march through the streets. I'm not pretending that those things aren't real. But what I am saying is that we can't just cower in fear. We have to build solidarity with each other. I'm part of a union. I highly suggest joining an organization, because we need to remember that our love for one another is more powerful than all the systems conspiring against us. Okay? So let me know what your thoughts are, because this just really made my day learning about this.